Welcome to proof video number 1, control race. In this race I'm going to try to set out a control that I can use to compare to other races so I can test and prove different penalties and bonuses. So the main objective to this race is going to be to just try to race as clean as possible, try to avoid any possible penalties or bonuses, and see what kind of crummy times I get, so later when I do other races I can make sure I can beat these times and alter things like start altering collisions and bad start times and so on. Then by comparing additional videos and just changing one factor at a time, we'll be able to determine if a penalty is actually incurred for that one factor that I changed, or whether we can get a bonus and so on. So by the end of this we'll have a scientific argument laid out that certain things cause penalties and certain things don't cause penalties, and there are some things that you can actually get bonuses for. The other thing I'm going to do in this video is I am actually going to summarize every race, and I'm going to summarize it with the conclusions I've drawn from all the proof videos. So even though I haven't proved them here, that way you can kind of see where I'm building to, and you don't have to kind of watch these videos over again and see that what I actually did to qualify for 3 stars and so on. So we'll read these things, and I might mention certain penalties or whatever, and you can just keep them in the back of your mind and wait for the proof if you want, because I haven't laid those out right now. All I'm laying out here is a race where I'm getting 3 stars, and I'm trying to get as bad times as possible. So some of the things you'll want to take note of is, like, I'm not shaking off a POW right there. Some people think if you shake off a POW block that you get a bonus, so I didn't do that. I'm not dragging items behind my vehicle because some people think that's a penalty, which it's not, but we'll prove that later. Also, I'm not hitting CPUs with items. I'm trying to avoid getting items as much as possible. I'm trying to avoid leaving any of my items on the track to try to avoid any possible bonus. And I'm doing things like not colliding with penguins and not hitting walls. Trying to avoid anything that might be a possible penalty. Another thing people say is you have to get out the lead right away and maintain the lead, so I'm trying to do those too to avoid any possible penalty. Now, if I actually do get a penalty, and on the final race on Luigi Stadium I actually do get 1 penalty, it's not that big of a deal because it just makes my job harder on my rest of my videos, because if I do get a penalty, then in the other races, when I later compare them to it, I have to get a better score even without the penalty. So bonuses are really the thing that'll throw us off. If I collect a bunch of bonuses and then we try to compare the videos, we'll have no idea if it was the bonus that gave us the 3 stars or not. So the main thing is to avoid any possible bonus, and that's what I do in this video. And I try to avoid every penalty, but I did make one mistake. Well, I didn't really make a mistake. Lightning hit me in Luigi Stadium and caused a penalty, and we'll see that later. So now at the end of this video, when it goes to black, I'm going to do the quick summary, and I'm just doing it in the black space, and I didn't edit the video, so it's only 4 seconds. So it might be a little hard to read, so you might want to pause it if you want to kind of analyze a little more or read it quickly. The basic summary is that there's a course maximum time, and I subtract penalties, add bonuses, and compare my time and see if I beat it, which I did. And the other thing is, you might say, well, what's this with the maximum time? Again, I'll kind of reference that later. I don't lay out videos explicitly showing the maximum times, but in the next 2 videos, number 2 and 3, you'll understand more where I get that from, and some proof of it that you can find out for yourself, that the course maximum time says 3 minutes on Sherbet Land, for example. Now in this video, I'm noting every time I go through the water and collect an off-road penalty. Yes, there is an off-road penalty. Again, I'll prove that later in these videos 7 and 8. But the thing about Shy Guy Beach is it's really hard to know about the off-road penalty. Maybe they give you 5 seconds for free or something, or maybe you get the first half second for free on Shy Guy Beach. Maybe there's some sub rule that I can't really weed out. So my assumption is that you do collect an off-road penalty even for the slightest moment in the water, but it is possible that instead the maximum time is actually lower and they give you 5 seconds worth for free. And I just can't really test that, but it doesn't really matter because the math works out the same. If I assume they give me 5 seconds for free or not, it doesn't really matter whether I'm collecting it for the first 5 seconds or not, or first half second in the water. So I know this might be a little confusing right now, and kind of wondering what the heck I'm talking about. It'll make more sense after video 7 and 8. Just wanted to let you know again, I am showing the penalties as best as I know. I do know there's an off-road penalty, I just don't know how Shy Guy Beach actually calculates it. So, but you can see it now. And I'm also not going to do this in every video layout, every little split second. I'm just doing this one to let you know, give you a heads up of what's going on. And I'm going to do it in 7 and 8 where I'm analyzing more of the actual off-road penalty. So in this one, again, you could just kind of note it and go on with it. Kind of, we'll get more detail about it later. And again, here comes the summary of the video, and quick read here shows that I just barely beat the adjusted maximum time. Now with Delfino Square, I again make one mistake. In this first lap, I'm going to throw out a fake item box. I'm going to run into it by accident. I'm not going to get the arc on my throw I thought I was going to get. I was trying to get it out of the way before I got hit, and I ended up running into it. And again, in a later video, in number 5, I'll prove that it doesn't make a difference, that there's no penalty for hitting fake item box. But as I stated in the first part of this video, that the penalty doesn't really ruin this video, because you can still, it just means I have to do a faster time in this video to beat the adjusted maximum time. So it doesn't really affect our comparison later on. Here it is right there. I was going to just throw it in the grass and make sure I didn't have the fake item box laying around and made a mistake and didn't throw it far enough. So that was it. So whether it's a penalty or not, it really won't affect, but like I said, I'll prove later that it is not a penalty. So just, again, note it, and if you're doubtful, watch the other video, number 5, and I'll show you that it doesn't matter. Alright, now coming up, I'm going to have a situation where I'm going to get hit by lightning and I'm going to drop the 3 bananas. Again, if you get 3 bananas hit out of you like that, forcefully dropped, there is no bonus if the CPUs hit those items that were going to forcefully drop from you. But I was trying to avoid that in this video. I was trying to throw all the items away to make sure they didn't hit CPUs. So when I go around on the final lap, you're going to see I'm going to check, and they're all 3 going to still be there, and I'm going to clear out 2 of them just to make sure a CPU doesn't hit it and I don't get any bonus. So you can watch for that. Come up here around the last part of this race. And, none of my items get ever hit by a CPU. And here we go, come around the corner, you'll see all 3 bananas, just to make sure CPU doesn't hit it, clear them out, and go up to the finish line, get my crummy time. There we go. Again, our race summary is going to come up, and I didn't incur any penalties because hitting my own bananas, I don't get a penalty for that. Again, you can watch the number 5 video if you want to see more about that, but there we go. So I made the adjusted maximum time, no problem. And now Waluigi Stadium. And coming up in the later part of this first lap is where I'm going to get hit by lightning. That's going to cause a penalty. You drive and you try to control for all these factors, and either you make a human mistake or just sometimes the game just won't let you control every factor. I took so many times to do this one and get such crummy times, because most of the time I was getting too good at times, that I'm just gonna have to live with this. And again, getting a penalty just makes it harder for me to get 3 stars in this race. Later when I compare it to another video, it's not gonna matter if I get the same time or better and I don't get a falling penalty, then obviously I still got 3 stars. It's not going to really factor into it, especially since this race I don't change factors. But here we go, hit by lightning. Just bummer, messed up my good race going on here, but it'll still work out. I'll still be able to use this. And I'll just let you know that coming up in the rest of the videos, the main thing I usually just change factors in the first 2 races, Sugarland and Shy Guy Beach, Delfino Square and Luigi Stadium. I really don't change factors, so they're really not as important races, other than just making sure that they're actually are getting 3 stars and they're not interfering with my other factors. So again, if I'm not getting any collisions on Luigi Stadiums in the future or any falling penalties, then we can really be pretty darn sure if I get a better time that it is a 3-star quality race. And as the race is winding down here, I'll just let you know that at the end of every video I will run across the screen the list of all the proof videos and even some of the supplemental ones. That I made them supplemental because they really just prove a nuance, like exactly how long a fixed hazard collision is, how many seconds and so forth. You can watch just the main proof videos and understand most of what's going on. It's just if you want to get in the nitty-gritty about actual times and exactness of the penalties, then you want to watch kind of the supplemental videos. So at the end, they'll scroll across the screen, you can see them, and then in the video description I will have the link for the next video in the series, and I will do that always. I will always have the next link in the series, but you can read at the end if you want and say, well, that one sounds interesting, I'll skip ahead. If you skip ahead, though, you won't see my argument laid out exactly, but I can understand if you don't want to sit here and watch all the videos, and just certain ones pique your curiosity. So if that's the case, then go ahead. So here you go. Here's the end with a list of the videos, and I thank you for watching, and maybe I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.